G'day everyone, rumours and Blaze, and welcome to episode number 72 of the TriPoint Podcast, or in today's episode, the TriPoint Podcast Lite. And that's because, my co-host hasn't chimed in and said anything like she usually does. It's only me today. It's because Kinunners is sick at the moment. Colds and stuff have been going around all over the place here at the moment. Like in where we live in Australia, they're around the areas that we live in, I guess. And yeah, they're sort of everywhere at the moment. I'm somehow the only one of my siblings, of my siblings and myself, who hasn't gotten sick yet. I don't know how. Therefore I decided to make sort of a new type of TriPoint podcast for this sort of occasion when one person can't make it. Because this is the first time in 71 episodes that one of us hasn't been able to make it. Therefore, the TriPoint Podcast Lite. And I was going to call it the TriPoint Podcast Mini. However, I actually don't know how long I'm going to be talking for. And I thought of Lite right beforehand, because it is technically lighter. There's less to it, because there's one less person who's talking. It's only going to be me. I'm going to be covering all the news topics that have come out over the last week and a bit. It's actually I'm recording this on a later of a date than I usually do, because I was waiting to see whether she'd be good enough to talk or not. And she messaged me this morning and said no. Therefore, it's only going to be me, as I said. And I'm going to start off with some rumours. There has been some rumours that there will be a Nintendo Direct during July. Considering there's not much of July left, I'm recording this on the 24th, therefore, what's that, 7 days? Yeah, something like that. There's not much left of July. Therefore, it's going to have to be next week or not July. Yeah, there's not much else to say. I don't know exactly what could be shown there. I guess Metro Prime 4 will probably finally get a release date. Maybe they'll show off some Switch 2 editions. Maybe, I don't know, some updated games. Who knows? And then sticking on Nintendo, I think... Hold on. How many of these are Nintendo? I actually don't have anything Microsoft here for once. If you include Pokemon, I think there's only one thing here that's not Nintendo. And the next thing is Nintendo eShop. In some Asian regions, including Japan and all that sort of thing, but I understand there's some guideline updates to the eShop, which will help remove a lot of the yucky stuff that's on there. And that's such a good thing. I haven't really talked about it much on the channel, however, I cannot stand trying to scroll through the eShop. And scrolling down, and all I see is the same gross content over and over again. It's just frustrating, and I cannot stand it at all. It's good. I'm glad that they're updating the guidelines there. I'm upset that they haven't come to other countries yet. I'm assuming it's going to be a gradual rollout if they sort of do it. I hope they do though, because my gosh, please. Nintendo has a second mystery playtest. If everyone remembers, there was a playtest last year, I think it was. Maybe it was, I don't know, it was a while ago now. That was on the Switch 1 to do online testing and stuff like that. Apparently there was not necessarily a game, kind of not necessarily a tech demo either, a proof of concept type game thing in that people were playing and going online. I never saw pictures of it or anything like that. Nintendo's been very quiet about it and made sure everyone else was very quiet about it. I'm sure if I went searching, I could probably find stuff about it, however, I'm not terribly interested. Although I was interested to sign up to this one, and I went online and found that it's not happening with Australia, which was upsetting, especially because you can sign up as a group. I could have signed up Kinunners and at least one of my other siblings if they wanted to do it as well. That'd have been neat. However, no, nothing's happening with me, sadly, because I live in Australia. Pretty sure it didn't say Australian on the site, however, I think it's rather too late now anyway. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it though. If they're inviting more people, it's more likely that something will get out, generally. I don't understand why Nintendo is being extraordinarily tight-lipped about it, but what I've heard, there's nothing in the game that necessarily means anything. I don't know, it's interesting. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds It will be fully on the Switch 2 cartridge, which I'm very happy with. I can't believe that's like actually going to be what's happening after everything else. I'm assuming Sega's looked at the sales of things that aren't. There is a massive problem though. It is going to be fully on cartridge, however the physical version won't be releasing until early 2026, which is... why? I'm assuming it's because it was a last minute change, however, like, why? The game doesn't even come out for 2 months. I'm getting the Switch 1 version, and I'm simply going to use the upgrade pack. They have confirmed that there will be one, because I'm pretty sure Sonic Cross Shadow Generations didn't have an upgrade pack. I might be wrong. However, I'm pretty sure it didn't. There will be an upgrade pack between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 version. I'm simply going to have to get the Switch 1 version and then upgrade it to the Switch 2, which is upsetting, because the only game I have in my entire Switch 2 collection is Mario Kart World. That's the only game I have. It's... frustrating. Anyway, moving on from that, Zelda and Link have been cast for the Zelda movie. Bo Bragason, I really hope I don't mess up these names. Bo Bragason is playing Zelda, and Benjamin Evan Ironsworth, I think that's right, is playing Link. But I understand Bo Bragason is around, I think she's like around 21 or something silly. And Benjamin Evan Ironsworth is about 16 or something silly. Interesting age gap. I mean, I assume they can't be going down a certain route that some of the Zelda games do tend to go down to with the age gap there. However, like, I think it kind of makes sense. I think Bo Bragason looks like she would perfectly fit the role of Zelda. She looks like a Zelda. Benjamin, I don't know. I don't know. Not to be mean to the guy or anything like that. I don't know. Simply looking at the picture that Nintendo put up, at least I haven't seen him in any other thing. He might be good. I'm not 100% sure. However, simply to see him, he doesn't really look like a Link to me yet. However, that could change. I'm assuming it will probably change. I will probably grow to be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. I can see that they're probably going to make him talk though, and I mean, I think it would have been a very interesting take on a movie if they tried to keep it to Link being a mute. I think that would have been, because like, when do you see a movie like that? I understand that, like, I always had this thing where when I was doing my degree, even my teachers always said you have to have dialogue, like all the characters have to speak. And like, I don't know, my major project that I did, I didn't have any of the characters speak because I wanted to try tell a story through actions alone, and I think that's a fun idea, and I really think that could go like really far. I don't know. I know, like, it's, yeah. Anyway, he will probably be talking though. That it is a movie for people to watch, and yeah, I think he will do fine, and I think Bo will do fine as Zelda too. But I understand they're sort of like, they're well versed in acting at the very least. They've done things before and all that sort of thing. Therefore, yeah. Again, interesting the age gap though. I'm curious to see where that leads to. Yeah. Anyway, I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is why it's a Lite, because it is a lot smaller. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing. Yeah. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the Pokémon Presents that came out a couple of days ago. I'm gonna be completely honest straight off the bat. It was a Pokémon Presents. I'm not 100%. They kept like really hyping up this Pokémon Presents, and I'm curious to see like other thoughts and stuff on it. Like, I have seen some other thoughts on it, and they sort of think the same thing as me. It was a Pokémon Presents, alright. They let you know that stuff was happening with the Pokemon brand, and I don't know, there wasn't too many like big things in it, considering how much they were like pushing it, like really pushing it. However, I will go through it. The first thing to talk about is they talk about the World Championships, lots of different games that are being played in the World Championships, and something straight off the bat that I noticed about this entire Direct, I don't think they mention TCG Pocket, like the trading card game Pocket, once throughout the entire Presents. I might be wrong, however, I'm pretty sure they don't. And I don't know, that seems a little bit strange to me. Like, to mention everything else. Like, even Pokemon Go and Unite are in the World Championships and not Pocket. But I understand the rules are slightly different to the normal trading card game, therefore I would have thought that would have been one to put in there as well. I don't know, I guess not. Yeah, a little bit interesting. Yeah, it looks fun though. Everybody looks like they're having fun and that sort of thing. I reckon it would be fun for people who know what they're doing. Then, probably the two biggest things for me out of this entire thing were right after that. And that's Pokemon Concierge for number 1. And I really like the first 4 episodes of Pokemon Concierge. If anyone knows me, I've spoken about it in the past. I really don't like stop motion. I don't know what it is. Something about it always felt off to me. Felt off to me. I'm like I'm an animator. Like, I can appreciate stop motion, don't get me wrong, like I really can appreciate it. However, watching it, I've always had a little bit of, I don't know, I have this strange feeling about it. It doesn't feel right. Pokemon Concierge, along with, I think, Shaun the Sheep, not Wallace and Gromit. I've always had a problem with Wallace and Gromit, don't know what it is. Shaun the Sheep I've found okay. And Pokemon Concierge, I really, really enjoyed. And I think it has something to do with the felt, like, style Pokemon, instead of them all looking like clay. And we'll get back to that in a bit. However, I am very excited for some more episodes of Pokemon Concierge. I watched the first ones, I watched the first 4, like, straight away, and then, like, watched them again really quickly over, because, like, it's such a fun thing to have in, like, in the background. It's such a nice little show. All the Pokemon look really nice. They look like little models and stuff like that you can make by yourself. I don't know. Concierge I do like. And it looks like you're going to add a little bit of drama. Ex-boyfriend has come into the picture. Ooh, fancy. Upping the stakes, I guess. I don't know. I like Pokemon Concierge, and I cannot wait for these. I'm assuming it's going to be another 4 episodes or something like that, like the last ones were. When they come out later on. I think it's September, did it say? Let's have a look. September 4th. Yeah, I don't know. Very excited for that. Then Aardman's, what's his name? Peter Lord. Aardman, he's the co-founder and creative director of Aardman. And as I said, not the biggest fan of stop motion. Although I do respect their work, like, a lot. I respect Aardman a lot. They're, like, masters of their trade. Yeah, I don't know. Stop motion, never been my thing. And I'm curious to see, with this little series that they've announced, where they showed a teaser off. I like that as soon as he said, in a, what's it called, in a region, like, close to their hearts and stuff like that. Like, I know they're English, like, they're from England and stuff like that, and I could not remember the name of Galar, like, at all, for some reason. However, I knew exactly what they were talking about, and then they showed what's the sheep called? I can't remember what the sheep's called. Wow. Woolly? No, Wooloo. Woolly? Is that it? I can't remember. Yeah, they showed that in the field, and I was like, yeah, it's this region. I couldn't remember the name at the time. However, yeah. Yeah, it looks like an Aardman production. I'm gonna have to see a little bit more about it to know if I do end up liking it or not. Probably not even because of the story, simply because of the. I don't know. As I said, I'm not a big fan of Wallace and Gromit and all that sort of thing. I do like Shaun the Sheep. If it's like Shaun the Sheep, I think I could get by on it. I don't know what it is. I mean, Shaun the Sheep might simply be more of a nostalgia thing, though. I don't know if I were to watch it now, if I'd be like feel the same way as I do about other stop motion productions. Yeah, I don't know what it is about stop motion. However, yeah, the Pokemon Tales, which to me sounds like there's going to be more. The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu, which is a funny little conversation. What was I thinking? The word. What's the word when you have combination of Pokemon? Yeah, I don't know. I am curious to see how this goes. It's a little bit more fluid looking than most other stop motion. I don't know whether that's. I don't know. It almost looks like it's been like 3D animated as a stop motion animation, and I know that's not the case. I think that's simply how they made it look. However, yeah, there's something about it. It looks a bit funny. Looks good though. I don't know. Again, I'll give it a try. Again, I'm the biggest fan of stop motion. However, that's only a me thing. Coming 2027 though. Like, that's 2 years away. Why announce it this early? Pokemon always does that. I don't know why. Anyway, then they go into, is it Pokepark Kanto? Yeah, Pokepark Kanto, which is a fun little thing. I don't know, I don't have much to say about it. It's simply a park that's opening up, and they're gonna have like statues of Pokemon around and different little things you can do. Sort of like a low-key theme park. Well, I suppose it is literally the definition of a theme park. It's a park that is themed around Pokemon in this case. I don't know. It looks like a nice place to go. If I ever end up going to Japan, I would probably have a look. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, looks nice. Planning to be open around 2026 though. That's good timing with how they've announced everything and stuff like that. Then there's like Pokemon Go stuff. Yeah, even though I play Pokemon Go almost every day. Even then, I'm not interested in all the events and things like that. Then there's Pokemon. Oh, is it Pokemon Masters? Yeah, Pokemon Masters EX, and they're adding one of the characters from. Oh, what's it called? I played it. I played it on the channel, or on the other channel. I can't remember. Yeah, one of those characters. Whatever her name is. I feel bad. Carmine, that's her name. Why is it that these sort of games get voice acting and then the main games don't? That frustrates me to no end. Oh gosh. And what else frustrates me is the next thing. Because they showed this little teaser of like a giant Lapras next to a pirate ship. And I was like, what is this? This looks neat. Is it going to be... I don't know. I had no clue what it was going to be. It looked really neat. I wanted to see more about it. And then it turns out all it is a costume for Lapras in Pokemon Cafe Remix. They spend a lot of time on Pokemon Cafe Remix. That's amazing. Anyway, then Pokemon Sleep has some updates. Pokemon Unite has some updates, I believe, as well, because it's like its 4th anniversary or something. For some reason, in my brain, it felt like it was older than that. However, yeah, there's Latias and Latios coming to it. Interesting. And they show off some more TCG stuff, the Mega Evolution things. Then they show up Pokemon Friends. And this is a really strange one, because it's like a set of puzzle games, and I'm gonna be completely honest, it looks really cheap. It looks like it's been made on the cheap. And the puzzles don't look like they're that engaging for someone older. Like, it looks like it's very child-centric, and that's fine. Like, that's all good and dandy. Like, I'm a massive puzzle game fan, though. I would have liked to see a little bit more. Although it does show, like, 1 or 2 that look a little bit more involved. Not too much more involved, however, a little bit more involved. Therefore, I was going to be like, oh, I'll get this and try it out. Because I thought it was going to be free, considering the mobile version's free to start. And then turns out the Switch version's $10, and I'm like, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother. Pokemon Friends, that's an odd name to choose this, only because, I mean, it doesn't really, they can do whatever they want. However, it kind of rules out them being able to call something else Pokemon Friends in the future. Because what has this really got to do with Pokemon Friends? Oh. I don't know, they keep talking about the aha moments. Why not call it Pokemon Aha? Or Eureka or something like that. I don't know. It seems strange to call it Pokemon Friends. I don't understand really where that fits in the game, because it doesn't. Anyway, then they show off the Switch 2 version of Scarlet and Violet. Yep. Looks a lot better than what it was. I mean, I played the entire game on the channel. Pokemon Champions. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know whether this be exciting for some people or not. My least favorite thing to do in Pokemon is the battles. Like, my favorite thing with Pokemon is to do the catching and all that sort of stuff. And and do some of the other event stuff, like doing things with the Pokemon as opposed to simply battling other Pokemon. I know that's doing something with a Pokemon. Yeah. I kind of wish like the main games and stuff had like all the contests and stuff in it again, like the little contests and all like the show contests and all that sort of thing. I that's the stuff I like in Pokemon, and it doesn't really show up too often. I would like a whole game surrounding that. Personally, I would play that. All day and back. Hell yeah. Pokemon Champions, it's a game where you battle. It looks like there's a decent amount of it can go decently in depth with how you like customize the Pokemon stats and all that sort of thing. I don't know, again, I'm not the biggest fan of battling, especially turn-based battles. It's something I've never been a massive fan of. Action RPGs are fine. Even then, though, yeah, not generally interested. Then they show off another big trailer for what's it called? Legends EA. Why can't I remember anything today? Legends EA, they show off another big trailer for that, going over details of the story and stuff. And like, again, I'm not the biggest fan of battling and all that sort of thing. Otherwise, like, I wanted to see if there was any way, like, I don't think there is going to be. However, I think it'd be fun to see if there's any way I could do, like, a pacifist run on this game. Simply for fun. Like, I know you can, like, throw Pokeballs all the time and all that sort of thing, without having to, like, battle and all that sort of thing, because that's, like, the Legends stuff. It'd be interesting to see that. However, yeah, I probably won't be playing it right away or anything like that. Maybe Kinunners will give it a go on the channel when it comes out. I'm not sure. The Switch 2 version does make it look a lot better though than what it is. And I am a big fan of the fact that they're sort of aging up the characters a little bit. I don't know. It's nice. They don't look like they're 10-year-olds anymore. They look at least 16. Keep going with that. I'd like it if you'd be able to choose your age. Like, I don't know. However, yeah, they've got like customization options and stuff. Like, yep. I don't know. This game looks good. Even the animations look fairly good. Like, yeah, it does look really good, this game. However, yeah, it's not one I'm going to play, like, straight away. Because I've got other things I want to play over it. Especially when it comes to action RPGs and stuff like that. However, the battle system looks much improved in this game. Closer to what I want. The Mega Dragonite, though, does look a bit funny. Not going to lie. Anyway, yeah. He goes over all that sort of stuff. Looks good. And yeah, that's it. That's all there was. It comes out in October. You can get special things for early purchases, otherwise known as pre-orders last I checked. And that's it. That was the end of the Pokémon Presents. Again, there wasn't much for people who aren't Pokémon fans already, and I like Pokémon, decent enough. Although I would consider myself more of a casual Pokémon fan, as opposed to a hardcore Pokémon fan. I do play, as I said, Pokémon Go pretty much every day. I never battle in it. As I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the battles. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Maybe that's what the poll will be for this week, is the, like, rating it, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the poll for last week, however, I don't think anyone voted on it. All good. Yeah, that'll probably, I think that's about it, though. Yeah, bit shorter than usual, as I said, it's a light version, it's only me talking, we don't have much to discuss about. That Pokemon Presents probably would have taken up a whole podcast if it was both of us together, especially because Kinunners is much more into Pokemon than I am. And I mean, I like Pokemon, however, she, like, likes Pokemon, like, it's, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Therefore, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening, and I shall be back in the next one, and hopefully Kinunners shall be back on the next one too. Therefore, yeah, everybody enjoyed, thank you for listening, and I shall be back in the next one. I said that already. Cheers, everyone.